video, we're going to add the ability to update our shipping to our shipping dashboard for our e-commerce app with Django and Python. Hey guys, John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we want to add the ability to update our shipping to our dashboard. So in the past couple of videos, we've been building out the dashboard. Now we want to put a little button next to each order that allows us to toggle either it as shipped or not shipped. So if it's already been shipped, we want to be able to toggle it as oops, not shipped. Or if it has not been shipped, we want to be able to toggle it, yes, we've shipped it. So that's what we're going to look at in this video. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor in the Get Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the playlist with all the other videos in this Django e-commerce series. So check that out if you haven't so far. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, get a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with thousands of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime membership. It's all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee, which is insanely cheap. So let's head back over to our website real quick here. And this is our shipping dashboard. And what we want to do is add another column here with a little button that allows us to toggle whether it's been shipped or not. So these are the unshipped items. So here we would have a button that says shipped. And when we click it, it would take, for instance, this guy and move it over to our shipped items, and then it would appear here. Likewise, here we want another button that says unshipped in case we accidentally marked it as shipped and we want to unship it. We can click that there. We also probably want to come over to our individual order pages, and on this page, add a little button that allows us to change it to shipped or not shipped. So we'll do that as well. So let's head over to our code, and let's start by going to our templates /payments/orders page. And this is the individual item. So this is our orders. So for each of these, we want to add the little button down here. So let's start there. If we look on here, here is the items. I think underneath that, we'll put the little button. So we can really put this anywhere, but let's do it here. Put a couple of line breaks. And here we want a button. So in order for this to work, we need to turn this into a form that submits this item. And then on the back end, we'll just, update the database accordingly. So let's create a form. Let's go form method equals post. And anytime we do a form with Django, we need a CSRF_token. There we go. And we need to pass what we want to do. So we want to set the shipping status to true. Right now it's false, right? Remember in our model, if we go over to our models.py file, let's go over to our orders. Here we have this shipped and it's a true or false. So we want to send whatever the opposite is. So if it's currently false, we want to change it to true. So we can do that by lots of different ways. Let's create a hidden input field on the form. It's like a box that you would fill out, but it doesn't show up on the screen. It's hidden, right? So that is input, and we want to have this a type of hidden. And let's give it a name so we can reference it on the back end. And I'm just going to call it shipping_status. And let's set the value equal to true. How do we know it's true? Well, we need to do some logic up here. So let's go if not order.shipped. So if order.shipped is true, then at just referencing order.shipped is true, right? So if it's not, that means it hasn't been shipped. So here we could do this. And then underneath here, we need an else statement. And let me just say not shipped. And then let's end our if. All right, so let's keep building this out. And then we'll get to this next section down here. So we got our hidden field. Now we also need a button. So let's go button of type equals submit button. And let's give this a class. And we can have this any size or color we want. So this is going to be a BTN space BTN dash success. And that is, I want to say green. We'll see in just a second. And let's have this button say mark as shipped. Okay. And then we can close our form. So now we can copy this whole thing to the not shipped section. Or maybe that's the shipped section and this is the not shipped section. Whatever. This one will say mark as not shipped. There we go. And instead of passing this value as true, we want to pass this value as false. So, okay, let's go ahead and save this and reload this page, see what this looks like. Yep, sure enough, green. So now when we click this, in fact, let's start over. Let's go to unshipped items. This has been unshipped, and we see it's marked as shipped. If we go to our shipped items and click on one of these, now it says not shipped. So that looks good, but the green button for both bugs me. here, this is, instead of success, let's do this one as danger. We'll make this button red because we've already told the system we've shipped it. By clicking on this button, we're saying, oh, whoops, we made a mistake. It's actually not shipped. So I'm going to make that button red. So let's save this, back over here, and go to shipped items. Now when we click on one of these, it's a red button that says, oh, not shipped. Like, are you sure? Danger. Like, we've already told the people we've shipped this thing. Are you sure you want to mark it as not shipped? That's what we're doing there. So, okay, that looks good. So now we need to build this into the back end. So let's head over to our views.py file and our orders section here. And let's see. Here, we're making sure they're logged in, making sure they're the super user. Down here, let's say if request.post, right? So if they filled out the form, in this case, there is no form, but there's just a button, then let's get the status. And that's going to equal request.post. And then we want to pass in that shipping underscore status. All right, there we go. And that is just coming from this hidden field that we named shipping status. So it's either going to be true or false, right? So we'll get true or false and assign it to this status. And then we can run some logic. So check if true or false. So let's go if status equals true. Then what do we want to do? Well, let's grab the order number. So that's going to be order. And let's set that equal to an order.objects.filter by whatever our ID equals. Remember, we passed the ID in with the URL. So for instance, here, this is number 6, right? So this gets passed when you go to this page. So we know this is order 6. That's the PK, the primary key that gets passed right here, right? So we can filter by whatever that is to grab that exact order, right? So now let's say get the order. Now, once we have it, let's say update the status. How do we do that? Super simple. We just call order.update and we set shipped to true, right? Because we're trying to make it true. We'll pass that as true. This shipped comes from our models.py file. Right here, this shipped, it's either going to be true or false, right? So, okay, that looks good. Else, let's grab the same stuff here. In fact, we probably don't even have to do this because we've done it up here, right? So I'll just leave it in there so, it's explicit, but you don't have to because this stuff is already done up there. We did that in the last video, but whatever. Here, we want to change this to false. So while we're at it, let's set a message as .success and pass in our request. And let's say something like shipping status updated, something like that. And then let's return, redirect, and let's send us back to, I don't know, the homepage, something, whatever. So, okay, I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and try this out. Hit reload. Everything looks good there. Let's start over. Let's go to unshipped items. Let's do number 1 here. Let's mark this as shipped. Uh-oh, getting an error. What happened? Head back over to our terminal. No issues. So what's going on? I think let's look at our orders page. Form. Misspelled from. Form. There we go. Same thing here. Wow. All right, let's save this and go back over here and give this another try. Hit reload. All right, so we've got order 1. Let's mark it as shipped. Boom. Shipping status updated. If we go to our orders and go to shipped, now number 1 is there. Date shipped is none, which is weird. We'll have to fiddle with that. Mark as not shipped. Let's do that again. Let's go back to our unshipped orders, and sure enough, that is back. Click on this. That works. Okay, now let's click this as mark as shipped again. Click on our shipped orders, and this is sitting at none, so we really need to play around with this. We'll do that later. For some reason, this is not firing, which, let's look at this real quick. And if we go to our models.py file, set ship date, this should really be firing, but it's not. We could, I guess, manually do this right now. Let's add this. We're going to have to import date time. So, okay, let's head back over to our views. Let's come up here and let's import date time. And come down here. When we're updating this, let's create a variable called now datetime now. And if we head back over to our models.py file, we just need to set the date shipped to now. So just pop that in like that. That should work. All right, let's go ahead and save this. Give it a try. So let's unship this. Mark is not shipped. Now let's go back to our unshipped orders. We'll do order number 1 again, mark it as shipped. Now when we go to our shipped orders, we've got a date. It is correct. The time and the date is right. All right. So, okay, that seems to work. And that's great for individual pages, right? So if we click on, 2, for instance, we've got a button here. What about when we go to this top level page here? Don't we want a button right here? Yes, we do. So let's go ahead and add that. So let's head over to let's start with our not shipped. And here's our column. And we can just add another column to this. And let's have this say what? Shipping status, something like that. And let me copy this and put this also in our shipped one. I'll just pop that in there. Or maybe just have it say shipped. Yeah, I kind of like that one better. So yeah, we'll just have it say shipped. Whatever. And then down here, this is our not shipped. So we need a button here that says, shipped. So let's add a TD. And let me just close this right now. And inside of here, we're going to basically need to do the same thing. So form method equals post. Make sure you spell form correctly. Go ahead and close that right away. And as always, we need a CSRF underscore token. And now here, in the last time, we did an input box with a type of hidden. And we set the name of shipping underscore status with a value equal, this one's going to be true. But here we also need to do a second one too. So input type hidden name. What do we want to name this? Let's just call it num, right? And for the value, we want to pass in our ID, right? So this is item.id. Item.id. And this needs to be double brackety, right? So we need to, because on this page, all of the orders are listed. So we can't have just one hidden thing. We also have to pass in what order number we're toggling off or on, shipped or unshipped, right? So if we only want to update number 2, we need to pass that number 2. So we're going to do that in a variable called num in another hidden field. So there we go. And that should do that. Then we need our button. So button of type equals submit. It's a submit button. Let's give it a class equals btn. btn dash success. And let's also make this small. So btn dash small, right? And let's say mark as or mark shipped. And there we go. So that looks good there. Go ahead and save that. I'm just going to copy this whole thing over to our shipped one as well. So boom. And in fact, I forgot to copy the TD. So there we go. And this is marked unshipped. And we want to pass in here false. And also let's make this danger. So that button will be red. So, okay, let's reload and see. Okay, mark is shipped. That looks good. When we go to our shipped items, it says mark as unshipped or mark unshipped. Okay. Now, again, these buttons don't do anything yet, so we need to build that out. And it's going to be our shipping dash and our not shipped views. So let's have a reviews.py file, and we can just kind of copy all of this code here that we just did. And let's start with not shipped. So we can just paste this in. We need the shipping status, but we also need the num. So that will be request.post, and we called that num, right? In fact, we really don't even need this because, right, we know if it's coming from this, it's not shipped, and we're marking it as shipped, right? So I don't know. I'll leave this in here just to be explicit, but really we can just kind of tab this over, get rid of this, get rid of that, and we should be good to go. So grab date, time. Here, let's say update order, and let's say redirect. I'm just going to copy this, and we'll do the same thing for our shipped. So here, again, shipped is, if we click the button, we're saying, hey, it's not shipped, right? So this will change to false, and we don't want that at all. Spell false, right? Okay, that should work. So let's go back here and give that a try. Hit reload here. So these are shipped. Let's change number 1 to unshipped. Uh-oh, error. Name order is not defined. Oh, we call this orders here. So there we go. Same thing. Well, actually, we need to be explicit here. So here, let's get the order. So I'm going to call order, and this is going to equal order.objects.filter, and we want the ID to equal whatever our num is, right? So there we go. Order update, that seems the same. Same thing down here in our shipped. Let's grab the order, and that's just going to be with an ID of num because we're passing that here. So there we go. Change that back. All right, so that should work. Now let's head back over here. Try this again. Let's take number 1, mark it as unshipped, a shipping status update. So let's go to our unshipped orders, and sure enough, order 1 has been set back to unshipped. Now we can change it back again, mark it as shipped. A shipping status is updated. Let's look at our shipped orders. Sure enough, there it is. And the date shipped is there. 9:44 is the time, so that worked correctly. And we're good to go. So a little bit sloppy in this video, a couple of errors, but we got the job done eventually. We got this nice little button here on the dashboard page as well as the individual item pages. A little bit of logic, a little bit of model updating, and that's all there is to it. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube50 to get 50% off lifetime membership. So that's access to all my courses, over 60 courses, thousands of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 200,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.